Welcome back, Lions fans, and we are getting ready for another season, 2024, and we're here with head coach of the women's volleyball program, JP Dorn. Coach, last year was an incredible experience, 29-2 overall. You had a 27-match winning streak at one point, won the GSAC, went to the quarterfinals of the NAIA tournament. Just one of the best seasons in program history, if not the best. And now, here we are, and it's a whole new world. We're in NCAA Division II first year member of the PacWest Conference. It's a complete step up in competition and just overall performance that's going to be needed in order to stay level with some of these teams. So what has it been like just getting acclimated to that?
Yeah, I think we started talking a lot about it last spring, and just kind of the mindset we're going to need coming into this year. And it's going to take a lot. I think the difference for us is going to be a huge mentality shift. In essence, we're starting over in a lot of ways. We aren't in the sense of our core that have returned, but the level of competition that is so consistent through the PacWest, we're not going to have kind of a top 4, top 5. Like, every competition we play is going to be extremely tough and extremely important. And it's just a much bigger change for us that we're not as used to when it comes to the day in, day out. So even, how we're structuring practices, and, we've kind of come out with everything in our goals this year. Everything is about terminating. Kind of that premise of aggressive. We can't ever sit back on our heels this year, because it will be completely taken advantage of if we do.
Describe what that step up in competition is like. There are the players bigger, faster, stronger. What is it?
Yes.
What does it all mean? And I know you've had some opportunity to be involved in scrimmages and that sort of thing. So you've had a taste of it. The players have had a taste of it. So what is that? What is it like?
Yeah, I think, and you'll see this when you get to the upper echelon of NAIA and into, NAIA nationals and things. But the difference is every position is strong. You have, if they're running a 6-2, you have 6 very good hitters. They're not going to be like, oh, you've got 2 hitters you need to look out for on this court. Everybody knows how to play the game, and everybody is a student of the game. Everybody competes at a high level in the game. So we're going to see a lot more rallies, balls that we'd hit that would probably be scored are going to be dug up, and we're going to have to kind of re-engage our brains for longevity of points, and re-engage the tenacity of outlasting opponents. It's going to be a much tougher conditioning kind of aspect to it. It's just the overall, and it is bigger, faster, stronger. Especially in the top of the PacWest, the average height is we're with even our 6'4", 6'5" players, we're very average, and the outsides are going to be bigger. The defenders, all of them, they're just going to cover more court and things like that. So it's just all around a level up for us.
The good thing is that from last year's team, you return mainly everyone. I think you lost 3 student athletes to graduation. Yeah. So it's a veteran team that has had a lot of court time, at least for a couple of seasons.
Right.
Leading that group is an All-American in Morgan Cole. How has she stepped up to become a leader, and what will you expect of her in terms of both her presence on and off the court?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, because what we can't do is just ride her shoulders. And the good thing is we haven't. In the past, she's an excellent player. She has the like the competitiveness and the desire. She has the arm and all those things, but we also match that with our right sides. We also match that with our defense and our middles who produce really well. So, the biggest thing is like, oh, we're going to ride her to, the match, but it's like, no, like we've got to, just like every team, we have to really divvy out those sets and really make sure like our whole team is taking care of their position, because that's what's going to be coming at us from other teams. Like there's not going to be many teams that are going to be extremely dominant for one player, one position. So, but I will say like Morgan has the mindset and understanding, and even in our scrimmage yesterday, like she's seeing, like we've got to get after this. We've got to go after what we want, and her and some of the captains, and I think the team has seen that too. So I'm excited with that group because, a lot of them, Morgan's class, they've been starting for the last 3 years now 2 years, now they're juniors this year. So you have that experience that has been growing and developing, and their first year were kind of little freshmen trying to figure it out, and then last year they made that switch of like, no, we know what we want, and we're the whole team knew what they wanted, and so they kind of came out, and that's why we had such a successful season last year. Is the whole team was like, no, we're doing this, we're in this. So,
and Morgan at times last year had to carry the team, but obviously you wouldn't have ended up 29-2 if that was what she had to do all the time. Yeah. So there is other talent. There are other players on the court that can put the ball away. Can you just go into some detail about who they are and who's returning?
Yeah, both of our middles, Bailey and Kayla, will be returning. Kayla had a really great spring, so she's was very much a freshman last year in her debut, but we've really gotten the transition game going for her, and she's touching higher than she's ever touched. So like, I think we're going to see a lot more production from her in the middle, and of course Bailey, who's a super senior with another year left after that with COVID and medical red shirt. So she has a really, really good understanding of the game and what she's doing out there. She sees the right things. She has a great arm on her and really cuts and moves the ball around well. And then you have our right sides. We have Addie, who's kind of the fast and will beat blocks, and then we have Delaney, who's a lot of power. And that really was our key last year, is like we had, with Callie on the right side, a dominant arm and very strong arm, and Delaney, that offset our outsides a lot, so it wasn't pin heavy when it came to the outsides. We got to distribute that ball a lot to our pins, and we have 2 strong pins on the right, which is going to be very helpful and very needed, along with that balance of the middle. So our offense with our core, I think, is in a good place. And then, Blair coming back as libero after, working with Natalie the last couple of years. They really like sharpened each other over the last few years. And Blair is such a strong leadership presence on the court, huge voice, direct voice, very communicative. So, yeah, I'm excited to kind of see. And then obviously, our 2 setters who they've been starting their whole careers here and have so much experience of just leading the teams and running our 6-2, and they play very good defense. They both have 2 of our toughest serves on the team. So, yeah, I mean, we've got the pieces. We have the pieces to surprise some people and I think take advantage of some things. So. And
you mentioned Kayla and Bailey. Obviously, with the height that you've alluded to with some of these teams, it's nice to have Kayla at 6'5" and Bailey at 6'3" or 6'4", yeah, to at least have some height on the court, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's, you can't teach height. Certain things that, like, okay, the connection may not be there. They're still going to figure out that ball is going to somehow get over the net, right? And not to mention we have 2 other middles kind of training right behind them with Peyton Darm and things like that. So they're, if we're not going to miss too much of a beat if there's any issue there. But I'm excited to see our team be pushed and challenged to level up. and not really have a choice. Like, we either do or we don't. And so I think that's really where teams start to see a new level within themselves that they didn't even know, I think, was possible yet. So
you have a number of newcomers to the team. Who has established themselves? Who has created a presence in preseason practices? Or is it going to be a real difficult thing to crack?
It's I think it's gonna be pretty difficult to crack with just the experience I think our core has had. But I will say our freshmen they're so coachable and they are so engaged right away. They're just like, what do I need to know? And they're doing the little extras in practice, like they're shadowing or they're really taking to heart, I think, learning. And you can't always say that for freshmen. Sometimes freshmen come in and they're just kind of like, I'm just gonna ride this through this year. No, they're trying to learn, they're trying to grow, and we've got a lot to catch them up on. So there's a lot of freshman things they're doing, but they're going hard, and that's what matters, because that is going to pay dividends in the long run. So, yeah.
Now you look at the schedule, and obviously the PacWest schedule is going to be a beast, but fortunately you have some time to work your way toward that, and you've got some preseason tournaments to take care of. Of course, everybody's excited about the first home match in Freed Center, which is coming up on September 14th against Westcliff.
More excited than we are.
Yeah, well, but give us a rundown of what you're going to be facing in the preseason, and then maybe talk about a little bit about just the PacWest as a whole.
Yeah, it's tough actually scheduling this year, because we can hurt people's schedules because we're the newbies. So we got into a tournament down in Point Loma. We're playing at San Marcos and Chadron State there, and Simon Fraser in San Marcos. That's going to be a really, really good first test. Obviously, we have Westcliff after that, which will be nice to be home and kind of work out some kinks, I think, before PacWest starts. So it actually, even though we aren't in a second tournament, I actually appreciate the time we're going to have to kind of take what we had in that first preseason tournament at Point Loma and kind of like really debrief that and break down, like, all right, these are some major weaknesses that we need to really build upon, because our vulnerabilities are going to be massively exposed quickly. Like, there's no hiding vulnerability in the PacWest. There's just not. Like, if you're not very good at something, everyone will make sure you know it, and for every team. Like, it's not just us. But and so I really appreciate that we're going to have kind of that time to break down, and then we'll open with Biola and Azusa that next weekend. So we kind of jump right into the tough teams. So
I know that these players were probably in preschool at the time, the last time we played teams like Biola and so they probably don't understand what the rivalry is. But how neat is it to be back in the fold where we get to rekindle rivalries with schools like Biola, Azusa Pacific, Point Loma, Concordia, Irvine?
Yeah.
What does that mean for Vanguard, do you think?
It's for me personally, it's really special, because I worked at Cal Baptist back in the day when everything was still in the GSAC, right? And so I know how special those rivals were. I'm really excited to get back to them. I know all those coaches, and Chris at Azusa, like, he was my volunteer assistant at USC when I played there. Before Paula just retired, she was my assistant coach at USC. So it's like, on a personal level, it's really cool that, I'm now coaching against some of my old coaches. And then obviously knowing a lot of the other coaches in town. So, and then from an alumni perspective, like, our older alumni, like, get to rekindle these rivalries, and like, I can't wait for them to come see the Freed Center, and then not only come to the Freed Center, but play these old teams that they used to play. Like, I just think that's really special, and that's kind of rekindles their own experiences playing at Vanguard anyways, so.
Well, we hope that the Freed is packed throughout the 2024 season, and that we have some great crowds out there. It'll be a wonderful way to introduce ourselves into NCAA Division II and the PacWest. And Coach, we wish you the best of success this season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.